vertical one. The shorts don't really work because I can only do them 15 seconds long. I was gonna do like, okay, well, I gotta airbrush some stuff. Let me do a short and mix it up a little bit. I can only get 15 seconds. I'm a bit long-winded for 15 seconds. So we're here in the garage that is empty and upside down. At least the stuff in the center is upside down. You pulled up off the top there, bring all the Christmas stuff down, unboxed, brought it inside the house. So yeah, nothing crazy, but a little bit more chaotic than it normally is. And yeah, we're gonna come out here. We got to do some airbrushing. We got to clear coat the A13, and I just figured, hell with it, I'll bring you guys along with me. Why not? And yeah, so here we are. This is the stuff that we're going to work on. We're going to do the A13 first. We got our trusty sidekicks of our little prongs here, and our airbrush compressor. Airbrush compressor model number TC326T. Masters airbrush. Well, the airbrush isn't a Masters, but the compressor is. Got a tank on it. I don't know how many horsepower it has. A fifth of a horsepower. That's a little pony. My Little Pony, the airbrush compressor. Okay, so we're gonna fire this thing up. It is pretty cold in here. Well, that's not a complaint. I was like, it was cold out here. I'm like, I want to airbrush. But I'm wearing it's probably in low 50s probably. I don't expect to have any issues with doing any of this airbrushing stuff. But we're going to do thick stuff this morning, so we're going to get the 0.5 airbrush out, the 0.5 needle. And one body cavity search glove coming right up. I want to put that on the left hand, so if we're going to handle anything with our hands, we don't have a cleanup that lasts too long. Put it on both, but not really necessary. Not really necessary, so. And I got two needles here, and I really should mark them. Because one's for the 0.35, one's for the 0.5. I can't remember which one's which. This is it's really the nozzle that's the bigger issue. That was real deep. And that one just goes deep enough. So I'm pretty sure it's this one. I really should mark the end of it. I'm going to drop this in through the front. Put the nozzle on here, which is not the one that comes with the airbrush. The airbrush comes with a 0.35. This is a 0.5 aftermarket. This is an Iwata HPCS, I believe is what it is. Yes. That has been my trusty companion. And even though you can hand tighten this, you want to make sure that you tighten this completely and securely. So, welcome. You can securely, so you don't get any air bubbles in there. All right. And some people are like really finicky about like, oh, it's more than a certain percentage humidity. You shouldn't be airbrushing. I don't worry about all that candy ass shit. I've never had a bad experience. If it happens here, well, okay, the one time it's happened. But it's not that cold. It's not like it's freezing. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're running this. Let's run this about close to about 50 psi. I was like, why are you doing it so high? I said, well, this stuff is pretty thick. Okay, we don't want to reduce any of this stuff. We put this away clean, so it shouldn't be an issue. What's up, folks? And just a little quick video here. I am not an airbrush expert, okay, but I've been pretty successful with it the last couple of years. And I mean, I'm going to do this anyways. I might as well, you know, it's either talk to myself and nobody listening. Well, sometimes it is nobody listening. So we're going to get our airbrush cleaner that I made. And we will see how this goes. Always make sure that it's working correctly. If you can't push this stuff out, then it won't work with anything. Okay, so we're good there. And we're going to use the primer black, but just to be safe, we're going to use, and we're going to paint this beautiful thing. We're going to seal this this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. We'll have to take photos and put this on Facebook afterwards, because it just doesn't do it justice. So we want to make sure we don't screw this up, because this is a lot of work that went into that. Okay. Typical. I have a video with lots of folks watching, and my garage is a mess. Well, the center is anyways. We took all the Christmas stuff down, and, you know, it's not that much of a mess. It'll get picked up in due time. All right, so what we're going to use is this Vallejo premium color, and that's what I use for sealing. There's other things you can use it. I've been pretty happy with this stuff. It's very, very flat. It's also very, very thick. So one of the issues that I ran into when I started airbrushing, it was just such a nightmare, is this is a great airbrush, and I didn't realize how good of an airbrush this is until you get people that really know how to use it to do videos on YouTube. I'm not an expert. I don't know that I'll ever be an expert, but there's some people that are real pro level, and you can see the stuff that they can do with this airbrush, and it's pretty amazing. But one of the things, thank you, and one of the things that was an issue is that a lot of this stuff that you're doing, the primers, the clear coats, hey Patrick, are just a thickness. You know, this premium color, this is thick. The primer I use is also thick. And these things aren't made, you may be able to get away with it with this to thin it, but this primer isn't meant to be thinned. It is a polyurethane type thing, and you can't really thin it with this stuff. It is just its own thing. So you just have to go to a bigger, you need something that has a bigger nozzle so that it flows through. And I had a hell of a time. I figured out, like, what am I doing wrong? And nobody would tell me. So we're just going to drop I like putting like a couple of drops to make sure it's working okay before I commit. Because if you have to clean this stuff out, then you waste all this material. And we're just going to try this on here and make sure that it comes out, and it is. It's coming out nicely. Okay, we just put a little bit in there. Now we're like, okay, we're working. Thanks, Patrick, appreciate it. That's really the best thing you guys can do. Just subscribe, and, you know, if you got questions, I'll try doing my best to answer them. Look at that, nicely done, nicely done. So because we have a gloved hand, we can manipulate this. And normally I would put a fan blowing this way so we don't have these fumes that we're breathing in. There's really hardly any fumes at all. And it is really cold. Otherwise I wouldn't, well, I mean, it's too cold for a fan. And you're going to hear that thing fire up because we have this running at quite a bit PSI so that we don't have a jam. And still, we've got some bubble action going, okay? Don't let that dissuade you. And you need to clear coat these things, not necessarily for protection, but because it looks totally different when you clear coat. It evens all of there's different paints that you use that just add a little bit of shine in there, and it kind of messes with your eye and everything. And this just kind of evens everything out so it all looks the same. It's literally magic. Magic without the witchcraft. Okay, and it dries so quick that you can just, okay, let me just move it over to the other side and then get that on there as well. And then we're going to use the primer, which is something that I struggled with for a long time. And it's definitely in the 50s in here. We had a cold snap here in Florida, which I can't wait to go outside, wear long sleeves and shorts, which that's what I like to wear on my day off. And we're going to let this sit for a little bit. Let's go over the turret. Now the turret does have a handy little ring. You can put it on here. This is a 3D printed model by Iron Horse Collectibles in 1/72 / 20 millimeter. And we're going to let that dry. You can pick this up at Hobby Lobby. These things are really handy. These alligator clips, little place to put the alligator clips on there. So what I want to know is where these new people come from, because I've been on here for like 5 hours this morning. You guys weren't on here. It's not a complaint. I put it vertically, figured, oh, this is probably good. I was actually planning on doing a short, and the short only limits me to being 15 seconds long, and I can't even get a sentence out in 15 seconds. You know, I can't do anything that distance in that amount of time. We're just going to go over it again lightly. We're going to run all this stuff out. There's no point in wasting it. And you hear that sound because it's kind of thick. And I could have a jam. It happens. I'm human. I continue being human. Now we're out. Okay? So I'm actually going to put a little bit more in. And this is very high PSI right now. We're going to be doing a lot of PSI this morning. Normally it's running at under 20 PSI, but this is over 40, just to make sure that this stuff is going through. And that's something you got to figure out on your own. You know, you can read all the stuff you want, and nothing is really going to compare to just experimenting. Well, I tell people the most important thing about airbrushing is don't make any fucking plans. You don't know how long you're going to be out here. You can't be do it for 10 minutes. Hell, you can get a jam all of a sudden, and the next thing you know, you didn't get anything done. Okay, so this guy is completely done. This A13. We're going to take these Magic Juice, which I need to find a link of it. Somebody's on there. You can make your own stuff. Expectation is everything. If you expect something to be a problem and it is, well, you were prepared. If you expected something to be easy and it's a pain in the ass, you get discouraged. Trust me, it happens to me all the time. It happens to me on a work day too. So I'm going to clean this stuff out. It's going to be the same settings for the Viejo primer. 45 PSI, by the way. All right. That's what we're running. Now, I'm already warming up. I'm naturally like warm. Let's see if we can stand this. What'd you do today? We watched Tony strip. All right. We have this beautiful little Airfix Morris thing. This thing's like from 1976 or 1974. It's almost as old as I am. Okay. So we're going to see if we can find somewhere to clip on it. Somewhere that's hardy enough and not in the way to clip it. And somewhere that I can hold it upside down and not scare myself into it being a problem. So we're going to do... Yeah, work on this when you're not being rushed, folks. Otherwise, it's an unpleasant experience. You're not going to get everything done you wanted to. I think. Okay, let's clip that together, and we're going to put this guy away. This just is a huge time saver on time. You know, the hand sanitizer. If you guys haven't watched my video on hand sanitizer, buy some stuff. You want to get paint off your hands? Hand sanitizer is magic. Some people say, oh, rubbing alcohol works just as well. You try it and see if you have the same results. I didn't. Rubbing alcohol didn't work worth a shit compared to this. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. We're only going to put a little bit of it in. A wee bit. And let's try it out. There you go. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Okay, perfect. So, we're going to go. I don't like this thing shifting on me. Why are we wet? I'm going to hold it like this. Let's get the undercarriage part first. Why do I always prime black? Because I do. You can blame it on the heavy metal painting guide. We're good. Heavy metal painting guide was like, hey, prime everything black. You know, it's really light. You know, there's no reason to get this in one batch. And we're still probably going to miss some spots. That's the great thing about this material. You can paint this and it works, you know, really well. So and I don't know that this stuff is really durable. It provides a really good surface for your other paint to adhere to it. And it feels like today should be a Monday, but it's not. I put just a little bit in. Look how long it's lasted. And there's some things around the wheel well you're just going to have to hand paint. But what it allows you to do is, even though this stuff hand paints really well, when you're painting a surface that's really smooth and really big, what happens is this stuff flows so well that you end up covering over the stuff that you do and wiping the paint off. And there is a little bit of tip dry that comes, so just come in and take your gloved hand, wipe it off, move on. Are we out? We're out. Okay. Now this material is really weird. There's some polyurethane properties to it that creates like this, as it dries, it gets gummy towards the top. Almost like the cheese in a French onion soup, okay? It gets kind of gummy like that. And frequently, I may have to stop and actually clean this thing ahead of time, just so you don't have a gum up issue. Now we're going to have to flip it over. Another item that's really good, this stuff. It's called blue tack or white tack or something like that. And what this allows you to do is allow you to hold a model down, like I'm about to do. I found this out by accident. I find out all my things by accident. Like, oops, sorry. Sometimes you have a good accident. Sometimes you have a happy accident. Okay, we're gonna put it in a couple places, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this little vehicle around, we're gonna flip it, and we're going to, these are too big of pieces, and this will help keep from it rolling off of your whatever it is that you're painting on. Works great with tank turrets. You have a tank turret that you can't hold on to it, put that, actually, it's too big of a piece. a little there. It's so weird that this little truck only has single wheels in the back. I'm so used to having double wheels in the back of a truck. Okay, now it's not going to fall over as easy. And I could do all four wheels if I really wanted to, but this Airfix kit was a lot more involved than I gave it credit for. Between this and the Bofors, it took like 5 or 6 hours to put together. I'm like, oh, it's an Airfix kit. It's an old kit. This should go together easy. Yeah, there's a million parts. Again, expectations. Surprised the hell out of me. Well, seems like we got a little bit of a jam. Just come in and wipe that off. Now what you want to do is you want to start when you're airbrushing something, try getting into the crannies, into the little nooks and crannies first. Because you need to get paint in there. And in the process of getting into those nooks and crannies, you're going to get paint in other places that are going to need to get paint anyways. But if you do it the other way around, what ends up happening is you put too much paint on the areas that are easy to get to, and you can't reach the ones that you can't. And I can't explain that to you. It's just, you have to kind of experience it. You know, it's a no-brainer after it's happened to you, but. And I only started doing this as an alternative to using cans. Because the spray cans are just terrible. They're terrible quality. They're extremely toxic. Extremely toxic. This has no smell. Very little amount of paint's going. It's all going that way. Normally I have the fan blowing this way. It's too cold for the fan. I'll be okay. I think I'll live. You know. But I always have the fan going on in here. It's just because it's usually like hot. But not today. Winter hath arrived. So if we can't reach this thing, these parts with the airbrush, it's not a big deal. We can get in there with a paintbrush. I can reach anything with a paintbrush that you can physically see. Not necessarily the same way with the airbrush. But if you hand paint this, it's going to take a while to dry. If you airbrush this, you're pretty much ready to go immediately. Because it's so thin. It's just so thin. You're not covering up any details. Oh, something fell off. What fell off? Oh, one of the wheels? Okay. Well, guess what? We can get to the back of the wheel now. That's your motto. We want to give up on you. We won't give up on that. Just like, oh, you want the day off? Screw you. You're getting painted anyways, pal. Don't let the inanimate object win. Honestly, this is the best this has gone. What this primer? Maybe the cold weather is really good for it. It hasn't gummed up too bad. It's just good stuff, but it's finicky. using black. If something that's back in a recess, it's going to be a shadow. Dark gray would probably work as well. Visual spot. Make sure we haven't missed any big areas. Wish the lighting was even better in here. I got pretty good lighting, but sometimes. Thank you. What's that happening? Don't be bopping me on my head. Okay. Let's just take a little look. Miss anything there? No, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good, looks good. I think we're good to go. Put this little wheel, want to make sure we don't lose it. No lose it, okay? Okay, no lose it. All right. Now these are much more robust. This is Plastic Soldier Company stuff, and their things are pretty darn robust. So I don't mind holding on to a wheel or something like that. And we're just going to do the undercarriage first. This is the ammo carrier for the 25-pounder. Like a food truck for your gun. Ben, it's working wonderful. I actually want to do a short. I can't do a short. It's only 15 seconds long. So I came out here basically on your advice to do a short, but a short's too short. But it's probably 55, something like that. Working really well. But we're still getting bubbles. We still got some bubbles in there, so it's not perfect. Sometimes you got to be like, hey, why are you bubbling? Let's clean this tip, and usually that's enough to fix it. Yep. And we're going really thin, okay? I know you can't tell, but here we have a kind of a clear area. This is kind of the amount that I want to spray. That's how I want to spray. Just real thin like that. And if you want something darker, just go over it more. That way you don't put too much down in the area that you're looking for. Now this stuff dries really quick because it's so thin. So the advantage you can have of that is, we got a little spot here, okay? That didn't get painted. So we're just gonna pick it up over here, move this to a spot I have painted, and now we got a little light gray spot that we can deal with. Okay, so that's done. And by the time we're done with all these parts, we can come in here with a light stone and paint these up. Next ammo carrier, same thing. Always make sure, that's right, mind the tip. You think this showed up in the shorts feed? Well, I started a really shorts thing. Maybe that's how you, and I got people on here that have never been on here, so I appreciate you guys coming on here. Maybe that's what it is. I need to tease people with a short. Okay, we're getting ready to start in 3, 2, 1, and then go to a live thing and actually do a real one. Because the short's just too short. That's it. Done. Short and shorts are too short. That's right. Why I'm wearing shorts. How many shorts can you get in a sentence? Right? I got those two down. Time to do the piggies. The best thing about plastic soldier companies are their wheels are so damn robust. I don't feel bad about holding them like this. It's not gonna, like fall off. Oh wait, you hear that? That's my coat calling me. Actually, we're gonna mix it up. Let's have a spray. Could have a Guinness. But then quickly turn into a show on how to take a nap. All right, Morris. Do the upside down part first. Try to get the hard to reach places. You get some freebies on some easy to reach places along the way. So is there a store there in the UK that you can like walk in and pick up an airbrush? What's the name of it? This thing's available from Hobby Lobby here in the United States. And you can shop there today, but you can't shop there tomorrow because it's Sunday and their ass is closed. Is this considered a lorry? I think there is one, but I forgot the name, but my local train shop has connections. Getting supplies to the train shop. I'm gonna have that stuff shipped in. We done? We're done. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do the first cleanup on this. So I don't mind taking an old one of these paper towels that we've used before, which by the way, my paper towel disappeared. Grab one of those. And just get as much of this goop out you can. There's no point in putting a liquid to clean it out and then running down the stuff through the tip anyways. Just get as much out as you can. Okay? It's mostly empty. Right? Now, we will go and we will use this particular airbrush, and I recommend you get the cleaning kit. I don't know if this comes in the cleaning kit or not. It's the official Iwata brush. You can use anything for this. This is pretty heavy set. Just come in here and just like scrape all this stuff off. Scrape is probably a bad word. It's not that. It's not on there that well. And go ahead and pour it out. And then that last little bit, blow it out, and we're clean. Okay? And that just keeps everything working well. Now, we're gonna need more of this stuff right here. Let's grab the paper towels. Oh, it's right here. Aha! This primer does not like to mix well with anything. Does not play well with others. Whether it's water, whether it's anything else, cleaner. So we want to get all this stuff out as much as we can. Model Train Shop has been waiting on Woodland Scenics molds for 2 years. Did you order them? I know what you're talking about, like those rock molds. Those are pretty cool, but I always wonder, like, you're gonna have like the same repeat rock over and over again? All right. Just so you know, we're running close to 50 psi. Which is really, really high. But this stuff is really, really thick. So again, just a thin little spray. I highly recommend these little alligator clips or something like that. radiator clip to one of the front tires with a Y. Well, you can cast them and break them for out of variety. There you go. I asked the owner, they said they're on the way. I know it's been at least 2 visits from the rep since then, though. Yeah. That didn't used to, is that post-COVID? Another COVID debacle? Mm-hmm. If this had been a metal model, we'd be fucked. This is why you want to watch my shit live. You never know what's going to happen. Doesn't look like any damage. They don't make things in Britain like that anymore, do they? Nothing. No worries. Right. Cheerio. No. That's how you beat the Nazis. You build shit like that. Crocodile clips. Sounds like a croc. It's that, what do we call that? Walkabout. Is that from Walkabout Land? Walkabout. We're going to walkabout and get some crocodile clips. Yeah. Crocodile clips. All right. Let's get in the wheel well here. And also the paint you get on here is so thin, you could totally reuse this. Stunt bonus. 3x stunt bonus. I don't edit anything, man. If stuff happens here, it happens here. I'm not afraid to show them my humanity. Good thing. Now, this stuff is drying so quick, we're going to be able to get to the Portland stone and all that stuff. So you can see what I'll do on here with the same airbrush. We'll switch tips, but it'll be the same airbrush. Because I tell you what, sometimes you just feel like airbrushing. And it's not the same. I'm a lot more comfortable hand painting. But sometimes you just feel like doing something different. You can tell how much overspray I'm getting. There's hardly any paint going out. So, you know. I'd go Walkabout too if I had a name like those we found before. Genders. You make Americans sound voices when you play Americans? I hope so. We're not offended. It's just part of the experience. This is an adorable vehicle. I have to say, this works better in the cold when it's not cold. No. Remember, I didn't thin this at all. Not thinned. This particular material. Not with everything, this particular one. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to thin either. Okay, this cute little guy can come sit over here. All right, what else we got? Got some tops. I'm going to do the inside anyways. I don't know if you were on this morning when I cut this thing into 3 pieces, but this is now 3 pieces. This top is 3 pieces. And it fits on there like that's how it's supposed to be. Except it's not on the instructions to do it that way. I'm actually going to wait for this to dry a little bit. I'll go to the other one, we'll come back to it. So when I pull it off, I won't pull off a bunch of extra paint. That's not supposed to happen. Man, it's like I need a stunt double. I'm my own stunt double. I get klutzy when I'm wearing any kind of glasses. I get tunnel vision. That was a handsome, very intelligent man that just left the chat as I came in. Yes, but he has no respect for women. He slays them. Although slay means something different now. But even you're too old for that. Good afternoon, Ben. Ben Wadi from Absurdistan, welcome. Maybe it's a woman's lair. Maybe, but they wouldn't be on my channel then visiting. Oh, man. Yeah, see, I'm going to go ahead and this thing ran out just for good measure. See, that's another Britishism I like. For good measure, we will clean this out. Just so you don't have a jam. You don't want a jam that's going to eat up 15, 20, 30 minutes and put you right back where you were. So you just need to be proactive a little bit, not get too cocky. This is something I've actually started doing lately. Clean this out and then pour it out. Like, there's no reason to running it through the needle. The needle isn't the problem. So just pour it out. Pour it in your big jug of whatever it might be. Come in and clean this thing out. Woman's lair. That reminds me of like, what is that? Dante's Inferno. All the women go to this level. Do you guys also say not to do things half-cocked? Mm-hmm. Don't go half-cocked. I don't say it, but... Okay, now we're good to go. Brilliant! All right. And they make a little lid you can screw on this. Feel free to do that if you feel it's worth your time. I never thought it was. Now this dried a little bit because of this clean out, so I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to move it to the other side. But that's an old school saying. People don't really use that anymore. I mean, if you said it, people would know what it was, but... saying that, going to someplace in the United States and saying something half-cocked to be the equivalent of guys going somewhere in the UK and saying, by jingo! You know, it's... Nobody says that. What size needle recommend? Okay, so mine came with a 0.35. It doesn't tell you that. This is a 0.5. So it's got a bigger gap to mine. So it allows these thicker solutions to be sprayed through. And you need that for the primer, and you need that for the clear coat. But the rest of it is just 0.35. So it comes with this. Oh, doesn't help if it's not in view. It almost has like a little telescoping little end. That's the one it comes with, and one needle. I've screwed up before and put the other needle in here. The important thing is the tip, you know, because when you put both of the needles, they come all the way through, and you can see them, you know, pop through there. Okay, we're good. All right. So which other one did we need to move? We moved that one. Okay, cool. We needed to move. Oh, this one. Yeah, this is where we ended on. But you see, this is not a quick process. I mean, you could do it a lot quicker, and then you have to come back and clean things up, and don't make any plans. No mask needed. Nope. No, that's very little amount of paint. Normally I would have the fan blowing on me this way. Nope, no mask. You know, if I was like towards me, yeah, I'd have other issues other than that. I've just been holding my breath the whole time for 20 minutes. Balls? No, old school. I won't have balls. I'm just old school. You know, like I ride a bike, right? I go off-road biking. I don't do anything crazy. I don't. You know, how come you're not wearing a helmet? What the fuck? We didn't wear helmets in the 70s. And you know, it turned out just fine. You do you. Ah! Okay, the 25 liber. Bollocks! Do people really say that? Yeah, it's a tiny little amount. I mean, you know, it's a tiny little amount. This garage is massive. It's like, I don't know, 25 by 20 at least. And I put the fan on this way just to blow it that way as well. It's cold, man. Well, it's too cold for the fan wearing shorts. It's probably 53, something like that. I don't know what the hell it is in centigrade. We were invented by the French. You don't have to do metric temperature. The only 100 base thing I don't like. It's all the way out here, man. I got the shorts on, yeah. Woohoo! Okay, this is done. And now this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drop it off of here. Drop it while it's hot. Daisy Dukes, only if they're cut off. And I don't know why everybody had a thing for that. That girl didn't do anything for me. I mean, I remember when that show, I was like 7 or 8 or 9. You know, I liked girls back then, but that girl didn't do anything for me. 1979. We looked good in 1979. Jacqueline Smith was hot. Jacqueline Smith still looks good. The Bionic Woman looked cute. I think she still looks good. I think. Bionic Woman with super hearing. Like, you don't need that. I was 5? No, it wasn't. I was born in 1971. It's 8. But Dukes of Hazzard ran through like 82 or something like that. You know what I hated about that show? Well, there's lots of things I didn't like about that show. It was a made-up county. I didn't understand, like, why did you make up a county? I'm like trying to, I was already a map nerd back then, like trying to figure out, where is this? Where in Georgia Stan is this at? Alabama Stan is Georgia Stan. When I was 5, it was the centennial. I vaguely remember sitting on a rocking horse, watching the news, and that's it. Yankee Doodle clusterfuck. The airbrush did come with a hose. It came with a moisture trap. I don't have it here because the compressor also came with a moisture trap, and I had them both. That's the only thing I didn't install on it, is because the moisture trap is kind of, I did for a while. Now, I was getting a bit of an air leak. It's made of plastic, but the plastic has very little flex in it. Like, it didn't have much give, and I felt like I was getting a leakage through there. So I have one moisture trap, the one that's on the bottom of the airbrush. And I don't know how an airbrush works without a moisture trap, because I've never used one without one. So I suspect you would have a little bit more, spotting and stuff like that on there. So all I did was I bought the HPCS airbrush, which was $150. The compressor. I bought I ended up getting another needle a few months in when I realized, man, this is giving me all kinds of, because you can spray this with the airbrush that it comes in, with the needle that it comes with it, but you're going to be hating life. You're going to have to stop so many times and like tap it. But nobody told me that. I had to figure that out on my own. So I'm like, I don't want to take shit to the grave. Like, if I found out something that's going to keep somebody from quitting the hobby, I'm going to let them know. I mean, unless it's somebody I don't want in the hobby. Like, that one person that's a bad sport when you're playing games. Oh, yeah. You don't want to play with him again. Let that guy quit. Let that guy quit. So I'm not going to glue this. This is just going to be freestanding. Because there might be a scenario where this thing's trying to haul butt to get off the field before it gets machine gunned by, I don't know, motorcycle troops or whatever. Nazis on motorcycles or something. And where's the other one? Here it is. What's up, Victor? So, if you're listening, Victor, I've been riding a bike again, not in a long time, and I decided to go out to Alaska for the first time ever, and it went pretty well. And the second time I went out, I got a flat tire, which I haven't gotten a flat tire, I don't know, 40 years probably, and I was all the way back. I had to walk back. It wasn't a big deal, but I'm like, oh, I'm sure I could run into somebody. Didn't encounter a soul. But there's quite a few bike places around here I had no idea, including the one that was behind Turkey Creek. There's like a public park behind Turkey Creek that's pretty cool, but And it's pretty big back there. I don't remember what it's called. It's Turkey Creek Reserve something or another. And there's like a running track, and there's like a place to exercise, and like you can bike all around where it's like, it's almost like as wide as a road, but it's, you know, off-road. But I went there one morning. There's some girl, I don't know, she was probably 110 pounds wet, and out there running by herself. Like, what are you doing running all by? I mean, it's safe unless you encounter the wrong person. So yeah, I'll go back there, but I'm carrying, you know. But there's a lot of cool places I've been trying to explore, a couple different places, because it's like you're doing exercise, and you're not really exercising. You know, it's like you're just riding a bike. You get tired, you coast. You know, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. But I decided to, I needed to get I'm like, okay, I'm sure I can replace my tube by myself. And I did. I watched a YouTube video, piece of cake. So I went to the store to buy another tube, and I'm like, why would you buy a patch kit? Why would you buy a patch kit? Just buy another tube, bring it with you. Like when I'm riding, I'm like, I got another tube with me, it takes up no space. Take a pair of gloves, you know, because in case you need to get greasy or something like that, you know, you can deal with that, and you're done. You know, and in no time, solved. But I think it was those tree roots or just did a number on you. But I'm waiting for some old hippie to walk back there and go, how come you're not wearing a helmet? Because first of all, I'm riding about the speed that people jog, okay? And like, I'm not doing anything crazy. I haven't gone to any of the weird trails down there. I want to go to that conquistador one, see what the hell that's about. Like, there better be conquistador-ish. There better be something conquistador-ish back there. I'm going to file a complaint. But I made it all the way, not all the way to the back, because hell, it's almost all the way to Blues Creek. But I went pretty far back, and I got a flag. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll have to walk back. And it took about an hour. What a big deal. I had lots of water with me. Something else to do, just never did it before. But there's always events there. There's like a whole lot of events. This is the Beaufort's Cannon. And then we're going to turn right around, we're going to go inside, we're going to get the paints, and we're going to prime coat these things. We out? Yep. All right. Let's clean it out again. It's just a proactive thing to do. Take little steps so you don't spend like 20 minutes or whatever and not have anything to show for it. I need to put a link of where how to make this stuff. It's not my recipe. I don't remember what his name is, but you remember what his name is, Ben. You told me what his name was. Like, oh yeah, it's that guy. It's some guy from like New Jersey or something like that. Yeah, see, look, this is the stringy shit. Okay, this is what happens with this primer when it reacts something it doesn't like. It's almost like cheese. Or what is it, that stuff, that symbiotic shit that that venom is made from? It's like for you comic nerds. I'm not a comic bird. I'm a comic bird? No, I'm not a comic bird either. I got a neighbor across the street that I had one at the other house. He must be like, he must hate being around his wife inside. Because he's always outside working on something in the car, on the car. And he doesn't have cars that are a piece of shit that need work on. He just putzing around. He's got one of them wives. I don't. Red Dragon Model Works. Yeah, his recipe's pretty good. I knew I could count on you for my recon. Ben Waddy with a recon. Recce, as you guys call it. I would have called that Reese all day long. Well, I just call it recon. I use that word on a daily basis at work. I'll be right back. I'm going to go do a recon. Nobody's ever said they don't know what that is. There still is hope. Uh-oh. What's going on here? No, it's coming out. So yeah, this comes with a little lid. You can shut the lid on this thing. I don't find much use for it. Let's say it keeps you from having a spill. When you come to take that lid off, you're going to have a mess to clean up. So it's just better if you don't have to spill to begin with. Red Dragon Model Works, yeah. Lots of people have different recipes. His works just fine. Yeah, he's from like New Jersey or something like that. Okay, we're done with that. Set this thing off to the side. This extremely delicate thing. Yeah, does this thing rotate? It sure does. Alright, we're going to move this as far as it can to get, well, within reason. Good lord, that's like... You're shooting at the Stuka in full dive there, pal. Let's get underneath here, and then we'll close it back up. So even with running this about 45 PSI, the airbrush isn't running on that often. Now I knew it was going to start. You trying to be smart over there? And it just keeps from, like, it's not even hot. I have that other one that runs all the time. It gets blazing hot. And the paint will behave totally different. The paint is like super easy going. This and the especially this and the clear coat are just like to misbehave all the time. I was watching somebody else's video, and they said a good thing to clean this thing out is pour hot water in it. But I need to have like a little. Hey Patrick, I need to have a little, almost like a little warmer here for it. But yeah, we don't have space for that. We don't have space for that right now. I'm not looking for shit to buy, you know, like. But it seemed like a legitimate, you know, thing to do. So maybe that's what we'll do. Before I go on, I'll try to do a little short. Hey, this is what we're going to go over, just a little synopsis of what we're going to do. And then maybe we'll provide a little bit more, I don't know, exposure. I want some more exposure. Whoa, easy. Let's turn this thing down. The thing is, you know, there's big channels I'm subscribed to. I never get a notification that they've had a new video. So, you know, the algorithm is weird. Okay, this is done. You get a little countertop kettle for like 15, perfect for a brew or some noodles, depending on who you are playing, as in Burma. Yeah, no, it would probably work, and then just take one of these little. These things are great. Excuse you, I'll throw you out in the trash. These things are great, and they cost a pittance. You know, I use these for like when you're mixing the paint up, and just need to put a little bit in there. I think we got all the small pieces. Oh, aha. All right, we're going to clean this thing up, and we're going to go get the other two paints because I didn't actually think I was going to get this much done. And we'll go ahead and prime the base colors of these things. So I will be right back in a moment. Okay. Beautiful blue day out there. We'll be out there soon enough. We just need to coat these things, then put the wash on them, and that's what takes a long time to dry. Well, let's do something I never do. Let's have some water. Let's have some water. Okay, so we got our Portland stone and we have our light stone. We're going to do the Beaufort's truck in Portland stone, and we're going to do the other two in light stone. Doesn't really matter which one you do first, but the first thing you got to do is you need to clear this thing out. So let's get as much of this stuff out as we can. Yeah, this is one of the things that I learned, and somebody may have said this: just get as much stuff out with a paper towel, because running it through the needle, what does that solve? It doesn't solve anything for you. Like anytime you run something through the needle, it just increases the chance of it getting it dirty on the inside. So we're just going to scrub this stuff out. And I reuse these paper towels. Like once that stuff dries, it'll still do its thing. Pour it out. No reason of running it through the needle. You still at a high PSI? Yeah, you definitely want it to. The high PSI is helpful for cleaning it out. Got most of it out. The other thing I like to do, if you want to get the tip really clean, a little bit of hand sanitizer. And take the same brush. Hand sanitizer just destroys paint. In a good way. Sometimes I even run it through here. Pretty darn clean. Let's get our clamp. And I have this tightened really tight. It makes a difference. Pull it out. Back the needle out away from the edge so that you can easily move this laterally. You can see light through there. Push the needle out the front. No point in putting all that paint and stuff inside the inner workings of it. And you're good to go. All right, now 45 PSI is way too much PSI where we're at. We want to start about 20. So what we're going to do is we're going to dial this down, and you can't tell how it's dialed. You can kind of get an idea about where it's going to be, and you kind of have to wait for it to stop. Okay, and then you run this and see if it pulls down to like 20. So we're going to tie it up a little bit more. It ties it down. It brings it down to about 10. Okay, so it's sitting about 25. That's what we want. It's sitting about 20, and it goes down to like 18. Okay, so this is about the setting that we want it at. That's not critical. You'll figure that out. If you have it at too much pressure, you'll know. You'll be like, why is all this paint coming out when I don't want it? You'll figure it out. That's not one of the frustrating things. Frustrating things is like using the wrong size needle. So this is the 0.35 that comes with the airbrush. Okay. Yeah, a 0.5 nozzle with a 0.5 needle. Yeah. It actually, the 0.35 needle will work with a 0.5 nozzle. The 0.35 needle will work with both. But it's the nozzle that's the important part. And I can say that because I've accidentally put the wrong needle on with the wrong one. I don't know which is the right one. You could just see how far it pushes towards the end. Either one will work. But the nozzles, this is the one that it comes with. It's almost like tapered. See if I can put it against the background there, because that black background. Whoop. This, fortunately, if you drop it, isn't a big deal. The other one is just shaped smooth. The other one is, this one's tapered. This is the one it comes with. Okay, so we're going to put that 0.35 in. The tip's on the end. There's a little tip that goes on this tip. I don't run it. You know, this little thing that goes on the end. I don't run it. It's kind of like a protector for the needle. You just got to be a little careful. Whatever, you know, shit happens. It's just another place for paint to catch on. Push it all the way through, tighten it all the way down. All right, now let's move this stuff to the side, including getting rid of El Primer. Now, the Portland stone is the color that looks like this. This is the lighter of the two. We're going to do that one first. It doesn't really matter which one you do first. We're going to do the little Portland stone vehicle first. So this is MIG 0029 Desert Sand. This is acrylic color for brush and airbrush. It should be called acrylic color for airbrush. And yeah, you can brush paint it if you really need to, because it's very, very watery. And some people swear you got to cut all the airbrushes down. Not this stuff. This stuff's very watery. I'm very comfortable using this without thinning it at all. It's thin enough. All right, we have this somewhere attached somewhere securely-ish. Securelish. All right. And these come with mixing balls already, one in it. And again, this is gonna seem like it's the wrong color. Trust the process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I try to count it so I have an idea of, like, if I need a little bit more, how many more drops I need of it. That's 6 drops. Let's get our area that is black. This is not pulling it back at all. And you can see how we got that coming out. And if we're running this about, you can drop it even a little bit more. Under 20 PSI, easy. Okay, and this is the Portland stone, right? Yep. Yep, which is the lighter one of the two. So we're going to go over this lightly. And then we're going to go heavier in places where the center of the panels and things like that. It's too high. Let's drop it. Let's drop a little bit more. You dropped it too much. Interesting. The primer's behaving better than the regular paint. Welcome to Upside Down Land. Let me try something. Let me try something. Let me try something. Where's the crank thing that I should put right here? Yeah. I've actually never done what I'm about to do. And I may not do it ever again. Woo! That's interesting. That's interesting that that behaved that way. Drop the other needle in. I may have the other needle and it made a big, I've just never seen it behave that way. Don't be afraid of experimenting. Yeah, make sure you don't hit the brush, the button when you hit that, or you're going to be freaking wearing it. Well, now I'm out of paint. Great. All right, where are we at on airbrush wise? Okay, we're about where we need to be. Okay, give me a couple drops in here. It was just behaving like I've never seen it behave before. All right, let's do this. Let's run this out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had the right air. I had the right needle in first. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I just make mistakes and try to learn from them. Sometimes that doesn't help. This is the needle the airbrush came with. But this just proves sometimes you try doing this thing the same way and you get different results. So you just, like I said, the only thing you can choose is don't make any fucking plans. What are you going to do airbrush? Well, how long are you going to be? I don't know. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and put that's the one. So we'll just run a little bit of hand sanitizer on here. This thing will be ready to go next time. Okay. How's the vertical thing for you guys? You guys are okay with it being vertical? It's not normal for me to shoot that way, but I was just doing a short. This is why I would never want to do this with enamels. You'd be going through thinner and shit like that instead of just distilled water and Windex and whatever other things are in this stuff. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. We're going to try it with one drop. Okay. Now we're cooking. Now we're out. Well, one drop went a long freaking way. Now we'll do 2 drops. May I put too much at once? I don't know. Like I said, don't make any plans. We're out. Okay, 2 more drops. 1, 2. We're going to darken the areas, like on the straight area, or well, not darken, but add more pink to the areas that's on the panel. So you have a little bit of a shadowing effect. A little bit. I don't know if that's even going to be that, make it something that relevant when we're done doing the wash, but I feel like it makes a difference. Buffer on this thing being multiple pieces was a bit ridiculous. That was unnecessary unnecessarily complicated. So that's how we're going to leave this thing until we put a wash on it. That's the same color I put the A13 in. Two more drops. 2 drops are working well. 2 drops at a time. All right, so what else does this particular vehicle get? Well, we're going to get the Beauforts. So we can go ahead and paint the Beauforts as well. The 40mm cannon. Not too worried about doing it. Oh, hello. There we go. Just a thin overcoat everywhere. Just thin to get to it here. Build it up slowly. I try to leave some of the black towards the tip. That's like a free smoky barrel. You don't have to do anything to it. In that case, less is more. Do I apply electric charge to your models for some paints? I never have, but I only do acrylic paints. That sounds scary. I don't mess with electric stuff. That's scary. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that that's necessary with this paint. Maybe with some other things. There was some guys, when I used to work at the hobby store in the early 90s, they used to paint cars, you know, RC cars, and whatever frame they used, they needed to do that to get it to adhere. I don't know if it's because the paint had metallic flakes. I'm really not sure why, but no. As a matter of fact, there was a video I was watching when I went on vacation. There was this guy that was making some terrain for the Pacific. And I'm like, that's one of those things I'd like to do at some point. And I was trying to learn. He was making some palm tree things and so forth. And he was using static. He was using a static grass applicator, and he was and the actual, it had something to do with, like, it was battery powered, so it wasn't like, you know, super heavy duty, but it was like shocking him every time he was doing it. He was like flinching. I'm like, yeah, that's not my kind of hobby. No flinching in this hobby. Now this is just straight acrylic paint, non-toxic water cleanup. Yeah, see, we're leaving the barrel end. Let's see if I can put it against something that's white. We're leaving the barrel end smoky. So that's a freebie. Thin coating, thin coating. That's it. Let that dry. So this is the Portland sand color. This is the lighter of the two colors that apparently was more through 1940 and so forth. Guy next door's got an apron like he's gonna butcher something. Holy rear window, Batman. Okay, what else is part of that? This is the other Beaufort's part, and then we will switch out this paint and use the Lightstone, which is a yellower color. Oh, we're out? Okay, 2 more dots. The 2 drops is working really well. And this stuff doesn't gum up at all. We haven't thinned this at all. We're running about 18 to 20 psi. It's being a little persnickety to get started. There we go. So what we're going to do is we've got this paint down. We're going to run some strong tone. We're just going to add some brown undertones to it. And then we will dry brush this color back on with a paintbrush. Now that is the really wasteful part of it, because this paint is dry brush, you want dry paint. And this brush is anything but dry. It has to be on the wet side. I guess I could come back out here and airbrush it as well, but I'm mainly a hand painter, not an airbrush painter. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know what's causing it to do that. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of like, there we go. Like, man, the primer works smooth. Why is the regular paint not working smooth? Usually the regular paint isn't the one of the issue. We'll blow this out when we change colors. It's not a big deal. It's kind of surprising, like. The thin paint doesn't work well when it's cold, just the thick paint does. That doesn't make any sense either. Okay. Now, this thing's ready to go. So we got a spot here where we didn't get any paint. Let's see if we can. There we go. That took care of that. All right, so we'll leave that dry. I'm going to head and pull this one off the truck as well. Did we do the little wheel? There's a little loose wheel on this thing. There it is. No, we didn't. Not like we couldn't have done that back then anyways. I guess we'll add one more drop. The thing is the tip does not stick outside of this. No, it jammed here at the end. All right, so let's try to do this the easy way. Let's just squirt that in there. And let's take our... Try to do things the easy way first. Where's my... the brush that should be right here and is not. That it? No, it'll work, but that's not the... Oh, so I left it over here. This should work now. Yep. cleaned up, and I just didn't know it. How strange that this paint is working worse in this coat than the thicker paint. You'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think you wouldn't be able to use a thick paint at all. All right, so let's go ahead and pull this thing off. Let's give this a good clean. Something's obviously a little dirty, a little on the dirty side. Let's see what's going on here. I mean, the temperature's freaking perfect for this. This is like, I don't think you can break a sweat in this. So what I like to do is, occasionally, put one squirt of the hand sanitizer. Let's make sure this thing is squeaky clean. It looks like it, but sometimes there's stuff going on you can't make out. Like I said, don't make any plans. What are you going to do today, airbrush? How long are you going to be? I don't know. I'll get done when I'm done. You know, if you don't have at least an hour to airbrush, don't even attempt it. Don't even attempt. That's what we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And I'm pretty darn comfortable with the kind of problems I can get myself into. Now, I am going to go ahead and solve something because it's kind of annoying me. Okay, that I can't identify the two needles. And I've thought about painting the end of them, but painting, I don't want to make the needle any thicker. So I actually have one of these 0.35s I've had to replace because the one that came with a paintbrush, I'm really careful with these things. And one still hit the ground and it landed right on the end and it bent a little bit. And I think it still worked okay, but I went ahead and replaced it. So two of these needles that I have, of the three, I only have one of each out here, but two of these three needles are exactly the same needle. Just one of them is bent. And I moved the other one off to the side here. So we're going to find out which one's which. And the other one, the one that matches this is the 0.35. Okay. It is a tiny little bend. So this is the 0.35 needle. So I was actually painting with the 0.5 needle, just so you know, just right now. Okay. So the one that has the bigger taper. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, well, we're going to have to cut this one short because I actually had something sprung on me that I didn't know. So we're probably going to leave this right the way it is. But there's one of the needles that's tapered, and I got to remember that the tapered one is the one that goes into the bigger needle, into the 0.5. So I should have been using the other needle. I don't know if that would have made any difference, but anyhow, we'll come back and we'll put this one, and that's what we'll pick up where we left off. So, okay, well, thanks, folks, for stopping by, and don't forget to subscribe if you like stupid shit like this, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. And of course, I don't know how to remember how to shut this one down. There we go. That's how you do it. All right, folks, enjoy your Saturday. Bye.